folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. So, are you ready for high gas prices again? Oh, wait a minute. We've already been paying high gas prices for the last few months. And we've been told for the last few weeks that gas prices are going to be going up even more because there's a shortage of drivers and, there are problems of the freeze down in Texas and other things that's going to affect gas prices even more. And then guess what happens? Of course, what a coincidence. All these amazing coincidences. There was a hack on the nation's largest pipeline. This is refined gasoline, diesel, aircraft fuel, heating fuel, and you're probably all familiar and have heard about it in the news. This is the Colonial Pipeline that runs through the Southeast and up to the Mid-Atlantic states. And yes, it was hacked and it was shut down. That one pipeline provides half of the fuel to the eastern part of the United States, and it is now done. There's speculation of what's, caused it. A lot of people are thinking maybe the Chinese or the Russians, and the FBI is doing their very best at investigating it, because we can always trust their investigations. But the main thing is that it's showing once again the vulnerability of our infrastructure. And I believe, my personal opinion, is that this is playing in to the whole Great Reset. I think that it fits perfectly. If you look at the net zero goals of reduction of fuel, the reduction of dependency on fuel, if you look at the president's infrastructure plan, even though of course it's very little of his infrastructure, it really all fits, I think. And whether or not this was an attack from the outside or some type of coordinated event that just fit with the plans, the fact is it's happened. And it's not going to be a permanent thing. They're already saying that maybe they'll have part of it back up and running within a week. But once again, we're dealing with a fragile infrastructure. We're dealing with a fragile economy. We're dealing with fragile everything right now. It's like everything in this nation is just holding on by the skin of their teeth. And here we are, another major thing that's happened. This is the largest cyber attack on our infrastructure ever. It's the largest attack on our infrastructure, period. And because of that, the largest refinery down in Houston, Texas, has said that they're going to have to cut back. They're cutting back about 50% of their production because, well, there's no place for it to go. They can't ship it up the pipeline, and so they're scaling back their production. There's already talks of potentially importing fuel in if this goes on longer than expected. There are talk about transporting fuel here in the United States over rail and trucking, whereas most of it was being done through that pipeline, which is going to cause costs to go up even more. And there's already been reports from people on the East Coast that work at gas stations saying that they're being told that they are cutting their shipments back drastically, that they're just not going to be getting as much fuel as they normally would be receiving. So we're not looking at just price increase, but we're also looking at fuel shortages on top of the already inflating economy and the crashing dollar, basically, and the fact that there have already been telling us that there's trucking shortages with truck drivers in the fuel industry, so that we would most likely be seeing even higher gas prices. And now it's just, again, every time, almost every day, when you start looking at all this stuff and you stand back, like I said before, and see not just the one piece of the puzzle, but when you stand back and you see all the pieces of the puzzle, we are in the midst of a perfect storm brewing. Am I saying that perfect storm will be cataclysmic and will bring us all to our knees and this nation to its knees? I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm saying that there's a strong possibility of that, I believe. But once again, we're seeing that we are dependent upon systems that are easily capable of being brought down. And this is another thing, that this is a sign of the future of the of the present and the future when it comes to warfare. Warfare, I think, is going to become less and less about bullets and bombs and a lot more about cyber warfare and attacks on infrastructure. And here we are, a very major part of our infrastructure has been shut down because of computers. And not a bullet was fired. This is, once again, a reason why we prepare. I would suggest, if you're able to go out and fill up your tank. If you have any extra gas cans, go fill them up. Your fuel in a gas can will last for at least 6 months. If you want to start, keeping that fuel longer than 6 months, you're going to need to start adding some additives to it. Between 6 months and 12 months, it's usually usable, but it's starting to kind of get kind of yucky and not work as good. But they do have fuel additives that you can extend the life of fuel, because gasoline does not have a very long shelf life. But I think we're going to start seeing not just fuel prices go up. And I was watching a report today. Some guy, I can't even remember what his name was, but he was on the board of one of these commissions for fuel in the gas industry. And he said everything's going to start going up. He said, even if we get this back up and running in a few weeks, he said, with all the other things that are happening in the industry, we're going to start seeing prices everywhere. The prices of fuel for trains is going up. The price of fuel for trucking, the price of fuel for airplanes, the price of fuel that you pay at the pump, it's all going up. And then what happens is that trickle down effect. So you're paying, so the airlines are paying more, and the trucking industry is paying more, and the rail industry is paying more. Well, they're going to pass on those fees and those charges on down the line, which is going to end up causing the products that you purchase in your local store to go up. And they've already been going up. Food has been going up. Lumber, steel is 3 times the cost that it was a year or so ago, and so is lumber. Utilities are going up. They're talking about shortages and restrictions in certain types of fuel, like propane. Basically everything. I really have been trying to keep track of various items, and I can't find anything yet that hasn't really gone up in price. Some of it's gone up in price because of shortages. Some of it's gone up in price because of shipping and logistics problems that's causing the price to increase. Some of it's gone up in price because, there aren't enough workers to get everything going. So it's caused a shortage in some areas. But the bottom line is the biggest reason that all things right now are increasing in price is because we have inflation. And we have inflation that just keeps going up. In fact, I believe it was today that the Fed announced that inflation went up again, another percentage point in the past month, in the past 30 days. In fact, it's gone up so much that it right now, and I don't believe their numbers. I think their numbers are very, I just don't think they're correct. I think inflation's much higher than what the numbers that they're putting out. But even so, the number that they released today on inflation for the month of April was what they were projecting inflation to be almost a year from now. So inflation is certainly climbing higher and faster than what they had anticipated, at least what they're saying they anticipated. Now, all of you know that my opinion is that they're wanting this. They want this crash. They want it to start toppling down, because it's the only way for the Great Reset and the digital currency and the more takeover of our lives to really happen. So keep your eyes open, folks. This stuff, it's happening more and more. And even though one particular thing like this pipeline, or like the Suez Canal stuck ship, or whatever it is, or the ice storm and snowstorm in Texas, a few months back, even though maybe those one events aren't enough to cause the whole system to topple, it's the frequency and the coordination of these events that we are seeing that I believe that they're very much connected, and they're very much causing problems and are leading to an end goal, which is a goal that you and I are not in favor of at all, which is this great reset and continuation of this, these radical changes that we've seen over the past few months. So folks, every day is a new something new, I'm telling you. It just never stops. And I think we need to continue to be serious about our preparedness. Like I said, get out today if you're able to and fuel up everything that you can, especially if you live on the East Coast. The Southeast, they're saying, may feel it harder than anyone. So for my listeners there in the Southeast, I would strongly advise you to stock up. They said that there's a lot of people, the gas stations in the last 24 hours, I was reading this morning, that the gas stations in the Southeast in the last 24 hours have reported a major uptick in people fueling up. So people are already starting to see what's coming, and they're fueling up. So folks, get out there and do the same. And start being prepared to pay higher prices, because I think the prices we're probably going to see it happen everywhere. A lot of people are saying that we may only see higher prices on the East Coast, but if they're having fuel shortages over there, where are they going to get their fuel from? They may be pulling it from areas that wouldn't be on the East Coast. I think that there's definitely going to be this kind of tidal wave of problems when it comes to this. And is this the straw that breaks the camel's back? Probably not. I could be wrong on that. It's possible it could be, but I don't think that it is. I just think it's one more piece to the grand puzzle of change and takeover and of global dominance by these elites. So continue to be prepared. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Middle East. If you haven't noticed what's going on in Israel, seems to be an increase there of hostility. Well, there is an increase there of hostility, and who knows where that will end up, especially if other places like Iran gets involved. So there's a lot of things going on, and well, that's why we prepare. That's why we are getting our houses in order. That's why we're preparing mentally, physically, and spiritually. Because we know that dark days are here and are coming. We've been hearing the warning signs and seeing the warning signs for a long time, and that's why you tune in and watch, and that's why we support each other as much as we can, help each other out, and give each other ideas, and continue preparing our families for what's happening. Because friends, it's happening just on a daily basis. It's hard to keep up on. All right, folks, let me know in the comments if you have noticed any increase already, where you're at just in the last few days, and then where you're at, at least a general. You don't have to give me specifics, but just chime in. If you're in, eastern South Carolina, or if you're in northern Florida and gas has gone up 15 cents in the last, 2 days or whatever it is, let us know, and to see if what's actually happening out there. All right, folks, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.